On Facebook. Hello, everybody out there. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas, and welcome to a very special edition of my interviews with extraordinary people. We are going to be talking to Alan Steinfeld and Fairy Dragon Mara. I haven't seen her presented that way before. And an extraordinary woman who I actually am just meeting, Devera Thunderbeat. And she is a contactee who has had some amazing experiences. So I'm going to go to gallery view for a moment so you can see everybody. And this is going to be an opportunity for us to really learn a lot more from three people that are really honestly experts in a very unique field, the field of UFOs and legitimate extraterrestrial contact and connection. Um, Alan Steinfeld has been, for decades, studying the phenomena. He's had his own experiences, and he's interviewed most of the significant experts and authorities. He's been one of the main people that puts on Contact in the Desert. So we're going to hear from Alan and some of what he knows. Um, Deborah is an actual contactee who also puts on events and conferences, which I look forward to when we're able to get together live, but now we're in the digital time of our life, and I'm really glad to have you with us. I'm eager to hear your story.
Thank you.
And then we have
Awakening.
and then we have Mara who's with us, and Mara has been very at the core, at the center of putting together the Harmonic Convergence 2020 that's been taking place. And we're about halfway through, and it's changing the world. So we're going to hear all about Mara, hear from Mara about that. Um, so I'd like to start actually with you briefly, Mara. Tell us a little bit about what the Harmonic Convergence 2020 is for anybody who doesn't know. Most of our viewers probably do, but tell us a little bit about it and how it's going.
It's been absolutely amazing. We have had incredible speakers on every day. Nassim Haramein from the Resonance Science Foundation has spoken, and he's going to be here live talking with Mark Sims, the founder. And Nassim is amazing because he talks a lot about all the ancient technologies that were in the advanced civilizations, from the pyramids, Machu Picchu, all of that level, as well as new technologies. The whole idea of the harmonic convergence is that right now there's going to be a planetary configuration that's already started. And for this time until July 14th, the planets are in such an alignment that it's all about expanding consciousness. It's all about the harmonic convergence. And remember the old, when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars? That's what's happening now. So we're having all these extraordinary speakers. We've got Dr. Sue Morter, Matthias DeStefano, music by Elijah Ray, music by Larissa Stowe and Shakti Tribe, and incredible videos. And every day, William Henry, Brian Forrester, people speaking. Alan Steinfeld's going to be on with us. And it's been so inspiring. And the main founder, Mark Sims, is a truly inspiring, beautiful soul. And he had a powerful connection when he was at a Stephen Greer retreat, and they were doing CE5 meditations and they were seeing ships. And then he had an experience where he was downloaded and connected with a star being called Tejbar. And Tejbar gave him incredible, powerful teachings. So part of the harmonic convergence right now is every morning, Mark leads a meditation and then shares some of the teachings that Tejbar gave him. So I invite you all to not only go to Mark Sims, SIMS.com, and you can learn more about his book of Tejbar's teachings. You can also learn more about Mark's journey. And then we have the website thc2020.org for the harmonic. You'll see the schedule every day of what we're doing. And this is truly Mark Sims' passion, and it's his legacy. And Unify is here producing it all. And normally we're live on Facebook. Right now there's a little glitch with Facebook, but you can go to the website and find us. And Mark's whole intention was to have the best speakers, the best entertainment, the best of the best here to help us all raise our frequency, that it's almost a welcome. It is so that we are at such a level that we will call in and welcome our galactic family to come be with us, especially in these times right now, especially with everything going on in the world, from riots to COVID to people not sure of what's happening. What a beautiful time for our star being connection, the galactic family, to come remind us that we are not alone. And the intention of all this time is, after these amazing interviews and powerful times of meditation and breath work together, that's going out to the entire world, Mark's been given a vision that there's a strong possibility that on the evening of the 14th of July, we may see ships in the sky. And in such a way that when people look up, there can be a configuration in the sky of ships and a pattern that we will absolutely, definitely know that it's a real possibility and that we are not alone and that
Wow.
all these sightings are real. So that's what I wanted you all to know.
Oh my God. Great job, Mara. Great job. Thank you so much. Can you stick around for a few minutes?
I'm here with you.
Awesome. You know, a lot of the people she talked about have been guests on our show that we do every Saturday night. And just a reminder that tomorrow night is our next episode of Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe. And Mark Sims, who she's been talking about, is our co-host, hosting along with Deborah Giusti and myself. And we've got amazing speakers. Most of the people that Mara mentioned have been on our show previously. And tomorrow we're featuring a lot of very special people. And we also have music, including Olax, this incredible throat singing band duo from Siberia that are finalists in America's Got Talent. So it's going to be a very special show, again, providing more information about harmonic convergence and about what we're all hoping is going to take place very close, very soon, which is ET contact. Mm-hmm. But now, to give us an experience of that, and I'm just meeting her for the first time tonight, but I'm really glad to have her with us, is a woman who has been in contact and connection. And so I'm going to put the spotlight on you. And to pronounce it, Devara or Devara? Oh, we got to unmute you. Try again.
Devara.
Devara. Okay, great.
Yeah, Devara.
Devara. Okay, emphasis on the Egyptian Ra. Yeah.
Exactly. It's my Egyptian spelling of my name. So, and it means the light of the sun. Mm-hmm. And what Lori just said, she was saying everybody on July 14th is going to look up to see the ships. And that is the name of my book, Look Up.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's my encounters with ETs and angels, but I'm not trying to promote this, but I'm just saying, people always ask me, how come you see so many ships, Thunderbeat? I say, look up. So now, they're out there. I mean, if you go out for an hour, you're going to see something, at least, especially in Sedona. I mean, I've actually been all over the world. I see them. If you're up looking about a half hour, 45 minutes, you'll see something, you know. But they're all over. And yes, I've had contact since the age of 4. I'll tell you, the story is I was 4 years old, playing in the driveway, broad daylight, upstate New York. And a ship came over and pulled me up into the ship. And as they were pulling me up, my mother ran out of the house and she tried to catch me, and they brought her up too.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were they've been with us through our whole life, me and my mother, both of us, in contact. And for some reason, I've been contacted by many different races, but pretty much my star tribe, or whatever you want to call it, family, I mean, we're all one. first of all. But the one that I'm really majorly connected with is Sirius. And I actually will show you my contact. His name is Salu, and I have a drawing of him. There he is.
Wow.
And just to explain, he's a bird being. His hair, he's got white feathers for hair. Got triangle golden eyes. The triangles are pointing down. And see how like happy and loving he is?
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
they are. This is like sixth dimension. They took me actually to Sirius A. And when they went there, the energy was so high frequency, and there was no fear, no hate, no anything negative. It was all beautiful love. And I actually made them laugh when they first went there. I actually said, "Oh my God, I can breathe here." And they all laughed.
Wow.
Because there was no tension. And here's his symbol. They all have symbols, each tribe or whatever you want to call it, and it's a 7, and it's called the Elbatron. Elbatron. They're kind of like a group that help all different planets and the humanities and different beings. So they're Sirius A, and they actually live inside the sun. So you don't go there physically because it's a higher frequency, because you'd burn up. But it's true. It's it's like astral projecting when you go there. When they took me there, So and these beings are just pure love, and they told me lots of messages, and they're in contact with me once in a while. But the messages are they have been helping the planet for centuries. And they actually, don't want to scare anybody, but they've actually showed me in the command room a screen of how they see the Earth. And they showed me the picture of it, and it was, rotating and everything. And it was full of brown smoke. And I said, that's polluted. They said, well, if we didn't clean up the planet and send the rays of light, the planet would be a dead planet. And they showed me a black piece of charcoal. So they've been helping us, saying it straight up, helping us for centuries, they said. Centuries. There's many, and a lot of people always ask me, how many, what does the beings look like there? There's many beings there, just like Earth. There's millions of species here. There's, everybody gets stuck in this one thing about, oh, what do they look like on Sirius A or, Sirius B or this and that. There's many beings there. I didn't see any grays there. The grays, they had ones that looked like grays, but they were pink. And pink is unconditional love. And they work with color, light, and sound. This is what they do. They use frequencies. And they were telling me that, at this time when I was there, at this time, which was a few years ago, at this time, we're sending the golden green lights, ray lights, and the gold is the purification, they said, and green is healing and love. So It's just beautiful stuff.
So first of all, I just want to acknowledge how blessed you are to have had these experiences, and also that they've been so positive. And I just want to ask, because I have also interviewed people that have had implants put into them and have basically been treated like a science project. So what from your perception is that all about? Like, why is it some people have such beautiful spiritual experiences with very benevolent ETs that are possibly even saving our planet, and other people have such dark and difficult experiences?
Well, there's many levels of experiences. The being for a dozen of benevolent. I've even met reptilians that were surrounded with golden lights with the slits in their eyes. They're very stern, no emotion, but they were positive. And a lot of people that have been contacted, they go in fear. So fear right away causes the whole situation to be negative. Okay, that's one situation. And then there is the government experiments. I have had 7 implants put on me by other species that are not good, but I have never met them. I don't remember ever meeting them, and I've had them removed. They always want to know what's going on, you know, what the light forces are doing, and it's a crazy situation.
Well, we're gonna hear a lot more from you, but I want to go to our other panelists. But thank you, and we're gonna hear a lot more from you, Deborah Ra, emphasis on the Ra. Alan Steinfeld, a longtime friend. Alan and I have known each other for a long time. He was an assistant director on a feature film I made in Maui back in 1989. So, Alan, thank you for all the work you've done of bringing forth this information to people. And what's kind of because you have an overview, you've interviewed a lot of people. What's your perception of what kind of the different species, and what do you think is happening now?
Well, let me just say, Mara is a big part of Contact in the Desert too. And we go around and host a lot of stages. So we get to see the variety of perspectives. In my own experience, I feel like it's a shift in consciousness. When I've met these beings, it's been in dream state. So I maybe haven't been as conscious as Devora, but it always seems like, for me, there's an altered state of consciousness that happens. Would you say, Devora, has that happened to you?
Yeah, but when they took me up into the ships, when they took me up in the ships, it wasn't like I felt different. I just felt like the same person, but just it was a lighter frequency. You know, like you said, it's a higher frequency, lighter.
For me, in my contact, I have felt different, like I've been altered or almost like high, like on it's not quite a drug state. It's more like just a distorted perspective in my awareness. So I haven't met them on this beta level of consciousness, because I feel, this is just my experience, when you're in the presence of these beings that think so differently, whose field is emanating such a different vibration, it distorts our lucid awareness. This is what I feel. So we, in order for us to really make contact, have to practice lucidity, have to practice how we can be present in many interactions, in many levels of consciousness. It's like if you're like in the presence of some high being, let's say Amachi, it's like you feel uplifted. When you're in the presence of people at a lower vibration, you're feeling strange there. When you're in the presence of these beings, and I figured, why are these beings so different? And I came to a conclusion, I don't know if it's right, is that their sun sets the frequency of consciousness. This is why we can connect with animals and maybe other beings in our solar system. It's my theory. But when you meet another being from another solar system, it's the solar frequency that sets the rate of its vibrational conscious awareness. So when you're in these fields, we can meet them because on a higher level, we're all sentient, we're all of divine nature. It's just that we have to practice what it's like going from like AM radio to Wi-Fi. That's the difference in frequency. And we have the capacity to do that because our brains, in a way, are unlimited vibrational receivers. We just haven't practiced that distinct awareness of vibration. So the more they're here, the more we make contact, the closer they get. And I think this time of the harmonic convergence is very important because it's like what Mark Sims and all of us on this program, we're attuning our human vibration to the next upgrade. I think that's what maybe the virus could have been about. Wasn't a happy thing, but we were definitely in a different reality. We still are in that. And this harmonic convergence is fine-tuning us to a whole other level of perspective. And I think the whole planet's changing. I think you guys, Scott and Mark, everyone's done a great job in shifting that frequency. So
Thank you.
Does that make sense, Scott?
Yeah. So here's a question for all three of you. So Mara, if you're listening, I'm going to go to you also. Alan called it, raising our vibration or going into lucidity. So what are some practices for raising our vibration? And what does even going into lucidity mean for somebody that doesn't know what that means? Deborah, take it away.
Well, like I said earlier, the Syrians work with color, light, sound, and that's what I've been working with for 30 years now with the chakras. Color, the colors of the rainbow, activating, clearing out your chakras. And when you clear out and balance your chakras and bring you up to the higher states of consciousness, it raises your vibration. And then you can ready for Kundalini, which is even the higher vibration. So, and I use sound, color, and light to do all that work when I do the sound healing sessions that I do. And that's exactly what Alan's talking about. You got to raise your vibration to be able to see in those realms, like the 5D, the 5-dimensional, whatever, 5 density, whatever you want to call it. You have to raise your vibration to even be aware of that dimension. Absolutely.
Thank you for talking about that. I haven't mentioned it in this broadcast, but for several years I produced nationally broadcast television shows. And a lot of them were about UFOs. And I interviewed 8 former astronauts, 30 former military officials. And I might reference some of the things that I heard and learned. I actually introduced Edgar Mitchell to Stephen Greer. I made that connection. But one of the interesting stories that we did was about 5 guys that were hiking. And a UFO very dramatically showed up. 3 of them saw it clear as day. One of them kind of thinks he saw it, and the other one didn't see it at all. And in interviewing them, what was interesting was that the 3 who saw it prior to the experience believed in UFOs. The one who kind of thinks he saw it was open-minded, and the one who didn't see it at all was absolutely, no, I don't believe in UFOs.
That's it. That's the reason. I remember when it was the first year of Contact in the Desert, we were doing Contact outside, and I remember the energies of the people. And I saw the ship, and I said, look! And there was about half of the people could see it, and half of people could not. It's exactly what you said. And it was huge. It was just hovering there, and it hovered there for, I didn't even know, 20 minutes.
Wow.
And there was a lot of people. That was another funny thing that happened. There was a lot of people there, we contacted in the desert. I don't know, there was hundreds of people outside, and they were all looking at the east. And I remember there was a group, like, I don't know, about 20 people that actually like turned into statues, like mannequins. They didn't move. It was very strange. And I even said to my friend, I said, look, they're not even moving. They're like, and I said, I wonder if they're afraid. I said, no, they're not. They're like frozen.
Wow, interesting.
It was interesting. I think that maybe that the ones that are not ready, that are in fear, they kind of shut them down. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
Well, there is a term called switched off in the UFO community, something Bud Hopkins came up with. If you're not supposed to see something, you'll be switched off or frozen.
That's it.
That's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it, I demonstrate when I lecture about new realities. I show the video of from Harvard of the cognition, where these guys are playing basketball, and I say, look at the people in the white t-shirts passing the ball and count how many times. And when that's happening, there's a guy in a gorilla suit that, I'm sure you've seen this, that marches across the basketball court, pounds its chest, and walks on. I say to people, well, how many passes did you count? And they give me a number. I said, well, did you see the guy in the gorilla suit? And they all think I'm crazy because they weren't focused. And you can watch that on YouTube. And don't tell anyone when you're showing it to them. Just have them, and it's right there in front of them. And because they're not training their perceptions to see it, they absolutely don't see it. And then I say, watch it again. And they don't count the basket. And then I have to swear it's the same video because people come and say,
like
no, that's impossible. And it's like,
it's
well,
like the Mandela effect.
yeah, it's like we're not
that's
trained.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you, Maura. So in this harmonic convergence experience, since we're talking about to the degree we believe we see, how are you, are you able to track how maybe some of the places in the country or in the world that are beginning to tune into this are opening to in certain ways? Have you had like any feedback like that that you could share?
Yes, on the website, when people register, they click where they are. So we see this is very strong in the US, and it's also all over the world. And that's really inspiring. And I've also got the same feedback, just as Alan said. I'm very blessed and honored to be a big part as a hostess and an MC with Contact in the Desert. And with Contact in the Desert, people fly in from all over the world. And we've got people like Eric Von Daniken that comes, and Graham Hancock, and they share things that happen all over the world. And Brian Forrester is over in Peru, and he's at Contact in the Desert, and he'll be one of our speakers for the Harmonic Convergence. And he shows actual ET like photos, and I got to go in and see this from museums in Peru that have the actual skeletons of like a 2-foot high ET.
Wow.
For real. And we've got artifacts that are shown that were done, like carbon dated over 30,000 years ago, that have pictures of ETs.
Wow.
So in terms of international, it's really fun to tune in, and you can see things from the past with Contact in the Desert, or here with the Harmonic Convergence, or even learning from people like Nassim Haramein, Brian Forrester, Eric Von Daniken, Richard Nolan, like all these amazing people. I guess in your question, what I love is not only are there people from all over the world tuning in, there are people teaching and sharing from all over the world. There are people that have amazing expertise from all over the world that are starting to infiltrate everywhere. When we were in Peru, I was on a trip with Nassim Haramein and 156 people to Machu Picchu and Lake Titicaca. When we were there, we met a woman who introduced us to her mother, who was a shaman, that told a story that when she was a little girl, she was brought up in a ship. And then amazing experiences. And when we were at the pyramids of Egypt, the same. They told us stories of what they'd seen, the locals. And on Rapa Nui, on Easter Island, we met some of the guides, and he told us his grandfather had seen ships, and they showed us where they had seen the sightings and their experiences. So it's definitely worldwide, and I think other cultures are even more open to the possibility because it's more common to them, because it's not suppressed.
Yeah, thank you for that. Oh, I'm so glad all three of you are with us. I'm getting a lot of our viewers are asking questions. So Chris Roberts, who's a regular viewer, is asking, please discuss the ancient Egyptian connections. Who can address the ancient Egyptian?
As Maura was saying about Brian Forrester, he documents these long-headed skulls, and if you look at, and he says those are partly ET origins, because these skulls are really how some of the ETs look. The skulls are elongated. So if you look at Akhenaten, who was related to King Tut and that kind of dynasty, they all have these elongated skulls. But also the Great Pyramid was built in connection to the star Sirius. So in a certain time of day, the light from the star would pour through the air shafts. So there's very much an alignment. And of course, the whole belt of Orion with the three pyramids. I mean, there's so much Egyptian connection that actually they think the pyramids, some people say, were built by ETs because the further back you go, and John West talked about this, in Egyptian history, the more sophisticated the monuments and tombs are. And I mean, it doesn't make sense. As a culture evolves, you would think it get more sophisticated. No, but it gets less sophisticated if they've lost the knowledge of what brought them here. So, I mean, all the world religions except us, except Western civilization. Gandhi once was asked, "What do you think of Western civilization?" He said, I think it would be a good idea." So, you know, we have been deprived of our connection to the cosmos. We are intricately connected, and all the great indigenous cultures have known that. So,
Thank you, Alan. Well, thank you. In a moment, we'll hear from Sun Ra.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about the Egyptian thing, but I want to mention that I actually have been to Machu Picchu twice also. And it is an incredibly magical place. And when you're there, it's kind of like, okay, the closest quarry is hundreds of miles away, and it's way the heck up there. And there's no way it could be, people dragging those stones up there. There's just no way. When you're there, you feel it, And I actually had a beautiful experience. I was there on June 21st, and we snuck in and spent the night in the ruins. But there also is one of those places where the light goes through a particular thing, and we watched it and experienced it. And it's magical. It's magical to have these experiences. All right, she's back. Deborah, tell us about the ancient Egyptian connection to all of this. And you need to unmute.
Well, in the ancient Egyptian scriptures, I've been studying them for 30 years. It says the 9 major gods and goddesses came from Enid, and which is their word for their place they came from, and they came from the stars. They never called themselves gods or goddesses. The people called them gods and goddesses. And basically, I've been in Egypt a few times, and magical things happen to me when I'm there. When I touched the Sphinx, the words came through that it said, "From Atlantis." And it was so old when I touched it, it was like crumbling in my hand. It is really very ancient. And they were telling me they were downloading me information. I can't prove this, but they were saying that these 3 major pyramids in Giza were built by the Atlanteans, not the Egyptians.
Mm-hmm.
It was there, and when Atlantis fell, they went to Egypt because the pyramids were stabilizing the earth. They said that they built them to stabilize from shifting the axis. And this is the information they gave me. And then they started building their culture there from Atlantis. So the 9 major ancient gods, Osiris, Isis, Thoth is known to be from Atlantis. There's a whole, 9 of them. They said that they were actually Atlantean gods and goddesses, that they brought their knowledge to and built Egypt because Atlantis fell. So that's how old that is. And no one has talked about that. And it's been downloaded to me. And another fascinating thing, real quick, is I live in Sedona, and I've actually found ancient Egypt here. I got a picture. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Wow.
What are we seeing?
It's a sphinx. Do you see how it looks like it's
yeah.
but it was a sphinx at one point.
Yeah.
Is that Sedona?
Yes, that's Sedona. I can do an Egypt and Sedona tour now. Alan, next time you come, I will blow your mind. But the point is, this is facing east, just like the Sphinx in Egypt.
Wow, that is fascinating. I love Sedona. And again, Sedona and Machu Picchu are very similar. They're like portals, it's when I was doing the UFO stuff, we did a lot of stories. Do you know the Bradshaw Ranch in Sedona?
I do.
We did a lot of stories there, a lot of interesting things happening there.
Yeah.
Here's another question, probably from Moira. Dorina asks, thank you all of our people on Facebook watching. Dorina asks, how many people are needed to synchronize their intentions, energies, meditation to get over the tipping point, as the number has been constantly changing with time? So, were you able to hear that, Moira?
It's a great question. And of course, one of the first numbers that come, we've heard from so many indigenous cultures, the 144,000. And because you're asking me, I feel that the holographic aspect is, of course, all those that are is the perfect number, and that we are all one. So truthfully, it can take one and one and one and one and one, that when we all come together, all of those of us that are called to be doing the meditation, to be uplifting the frequency, will all connect and contribute to that oneness. So I've heard the number 144,000 over and over. To me, that is symbolic, almost like sacred geometry. Take the 64 grid tetrahedron of the flower of life. You put a lot of those together and we get that number. However, just like that Fibonacci swirl, it all starts with one. So it's within each of us.
Beautiful.
That as we step up our consciousness and connect with our family and our friends and our beloveds, that oneness will start the 100th monkey effect. And all there is one of us anyway.
Right.
So as that one within me does my work, it'll ignite the one within all of us. And I know that's where Mark Sims comes from. Beautiful. With his passion for what he's doing with the whole harmonic convergence.
So beautiful. And a lot of questions are coming in now. And I want to just encourage everybody, share this video, share it out with people, because so many people shared it. We got to over 7,000 people seeing my interview with Mark. So Suzette asks, I have dreams of Egyptians and Orions and that they were taking whales into the Red Rocks.
I want to say I don't think whales and dolphins are native to this planet. I think they come from another world that's more of a water planet. And they've come here to help balance the energies, even though they've been an abused species. I mean, imagine people hunting a conscious being like that. Dolphin, the word means brother. It's Delphi, dolphin, coming from the Greek word womb. These are our brothers and sisters. They are of the same consciousness we are. So what I was saying before about practicing lucidity, it's practicing looking at your own mind and being able to feel the field of energy. That's what I'm talking about. We're here to feel. We're here to relate to these beings. So yes, the Syrians are very connected to the dolphins and the whales, and I don't know about taking them into the Red Rocks, but
Sirius B is where they're supposed to, because it's a little denser there for the water. Sirius B for the whales and the dolphin, they say. Yeah.
Suzette, who asked the question, is agreeing with you about, your belief in what you're sharing, Alan. So Chris, who asked some questions about Egypt, he mentioned two names that I guess he's asking about. Hermes, and boy, I'm going to butcher this name. Hermes Trismegistus? Is that
Hermes thrice great? Trismegistus. He is he was a Gnostic kind of hybrid of thought. Is he asking who is Hermes?
I'm imagining that that's the question, yes.
Well, there's a whole tradition from Egypt, and then when the Alexandrian Library was built and the ancient Hebrew texts and the ancient Greek texts were all brought to Egypt, there was not quite a religion, but a kind of way of looking at the world called Gnosticism. And the early Christians were Gnostics. So Hermes became the master of knowledge, thrice great. I mean, he's mastered the body, mind, and the spirit. That's why he's called Christ Great, in my opinion. So he was sort of the being that brought the higher teaching to the world. And some people say he's a incarnation of Thoth or a further evolution. And Thoth was the record keeper. Thoth brought the wisdom to Egypt, maybe from Atlantis, like Devorah is saying. So Hermes is a very important person in Western mystical culture. And he, the beginning of alchemy started with Hermes. So, and alchemy comes from Egypt, the land of Tem, or black dirt was the land of Tem, which was Egypt because of the Nile would be so fertile. So there's so much in the Western tradition.
Alan, you're like the Wikipedia of mysticism. It's like who needs Wikipedia just to ask? Really, this is very impressive.
What else does anyone need to study? Do you want to watch football? Do you want to look at the mysteries?
Well, I do enjoy football, but all right, we have another good question here from Tarina. And this is something interesting I don't know about, so I'm going to be curious. She asks, what about the amazing Bosnian pyramids, which are believed to be even more ancient than the Egyptian ones? Many consider these kinds of pyramids to be energy stations for ETs and advanced civilizations. Do you? So anything about the Bosnian pyramids?
I know a little. Do you want to say anything, Deborah?
No, I'm not familiar. I'm familiar with them, but the ancient Thoth is actually one of my guides. And he actually said that a lot of the pyramids were built around the world to keep it stabilized from shifting the axis. They're anchors. And that's one of the reasons. I mean, there's many reasons. There's initiation, raising your vibration, healing. When I was last time I was in the pyramids, I was toning, and it was the heaven and earth tones. And it was amazing. I had my group of 12 people, and we were all toning, just us. And all of a sudden, Tibetan monks started chanting. We all heard it. And the Bedouin, the bodyguard, the temple guard, I said, is there speakers in here? I don't remember any speakers. He says, no, you activated the pyramid. He said, it's ancient. It was so loud. And it was I had the two tones of the heaven and earth tones, and boom, and we all toned, and that's what happened. It was amazing, and I felt like Jonathan Goldman was there,
That's awesome. So, Alan, do you know anything about the Bosnian?
The Bosnian pyramids was discovered by this guy, Sam. He has a longer name. He's Bosnian. He noticed this mountain in Bosnia that had very much of a pyramid shape. And his hypothesis was that is a pyramid that was overgrown by forests and lawns, just like the Yucatan. If you ever go to the Yucatan, there are no hills in the Yucatan. It's completely flat, except when you go through the countryside, there's all these mounds, and that's just buried temples. Less than 1/3 of the Yucatan has been excavated. So anyway, this guy in Bosnia noticed this pyramid-shaped mountain, and he just thought there must be a real pyramid under there. And he started digging at the base, and he found these tunnels, and it's still in process. So there's these constructed tunnels underground going under that pyramid-shaped mountain, and it's still a work in progress. He hasn't gotten to the center, but he's found these obviously constructed tunnels that might be as much as 30,000 years old, back to the time of. So it's an ongoing discovery, but it's also, I think, 2/3 higher or maybe more than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. It's the largest pyramid in the world.
So they also have this Pyramid of the Sun. That's the biggest one, is the Pyramid of the Sun in Bosnia, and the Pyramid of the Moon, just like Teotihuacan, Pyramid of the Sun, Pyramid of the Moon. They're all similar.
And what I'd love to add is, I know all these, again, I just go to listen to these amazing speakers. Both Nassim Haramein and Matthias De Stefano talk about the ley lines. They talk about the energy points on the earth, and that when you follow those, that Bosnian pyramid is right in line. And I know that if you follow Mexico, Teotihuacan, and Peru, and even Machu Picchu to Easter Island, they're all in that same ley line.
Right.
and the Hawaiian Islands, you can actually pinpoint out. And of course, it's right there, even though it was buried, it's in alignment. And both Matthias DiStefano and Nassim talk so much about the Earth grid points.
Right.
And the sacred sites are there because of the energy vortexes.
Right. So the pyramids focus the energy vortexes. They're not just pretty designs. They're actually energy generators. Linda Moulton Howe is a big person at Contacting the Desert. Just talked about one in Alaska that's buried under the ground, but it's generating energetic fields that can power a city. So,
even a lot of the old sacred sites way back when that were on these same energy centers, the Catholic Church came in and took apart the old pagan sites and the Druid sites, and they would take apart the temples and rebuild the church and say, oh, all the healing power, it's from the church, when it was actually the energy vortex that was there. Just as Alan said, it's true. Nassim even says, they're energy vortexes, they're energy amplifiers. That's what they did with so many of these pyramids. And it'd be fascinating to go explore Bosnia.
Yes, let's go.
There's a trip to take.
I just want to add to what Maura's saying, because if you go to the south of France, there's all these churches that have these black Madonnas in there. The Black Madonna was not a Christian thing. It was part of the pagan rituals that were incorporated into the church. So those churches are built on power sites, power points.
Yeah, and of course, it's a good reminder that almost every Christian holiday was revamping of a pagan holiday, right?
Easter is for the god Ishtar. I mean, there's nothing Christian about Ishtar.
Yeah. So I just want to give Chris Roberts, in talking about like the meaning of the pyramid, says, the pyramids are like acupuncture needles for the earth made out of stone. I like that. Out of blessed stone. So that's pretty interesting.
So the ET connection to the pyramids, that some people think they were placed here to keep the grid of the earth in place, even though it's been distorted. But now that all of us are recognizing the sacredness of these sites, it's sort of restoring the grid, activating the ley line, and preparing us for the frequency where we can now meet the other. And I think that's what this time is about, these 10 days.
Thank you. I agree. I mean, it's an incredible time. So, all right. So now I want to ask a hard question. We all have had our own experiences. We've all seen UFOs. We've met a lot of experts. We've got a lot of information. But, of course, everybody else has a right to their belief. When I was really actively involved in this, and I was traveling around and giving presentations, I always concluded my talk with, when people say, well, is it real? What do you think? And I came to the conclusion that this is a dream world. And on one hand, all of it's real, but from another point of view, it's just this incredible dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. And we all do have our different dreams. We might dream of benevolent aliens. We might dream that we are science projects. We might dream that, Jesus is the only way. We may believe that Jesus is a myth. And none of us really know what the truth is in the big picture. We just know our experiences and then our interpretations of our experiences and our interpretations of what these things mean. Last thing that I'll say, and then I want to hear how all of you feel about this. I had a wonderful teacher named Bruce Joel Rubin when I was living in Los Angeles. And Bruce is a very successful screenwriter. He wrote the movie Ghost. He won an Oscar for that. And he's a very metaphysical guy. Most of his movies have been about death. And Bruce had a great quote. He said, enjoy your mystical experiences, but don't make a religion out of it. And I think there's a lot of wisdom to that, because human nature, we want to make a religion out of our beliefs. We want to find, this is the answer. And I'm bringing this up right now because there's so much discord happening about the pandemic and these times. And is it 5G? Is it 5D? Is Bill Gates our savior? Is Bill Gates the Antichrist? Is it all, a hoax? Is it, some gigantic conspiracy thing. And I'm not here to say that that's right or wrong. I'm here to say I have no idea. I have no fucking idea. None of us know for sure what the truth is. We still don't know who killed Kennedy, right? So, but we all have strong beliefs about it. And there's all this evidence. Oh, the CIA did it. Lyndon Johnson did it. The mafia did it. Lee Harvey Oswald did it. And so ultimately it becomes, what do we believe? And what does the fact that we choose that belief tell us about our archetypal landscape and the way we see the world? So I'm kind of sharing my perspective, and I'd love to conclude tonight with hearing each of you kind of how you relate to that and what your kind of overall big picture about all of this might be.
Well, I want to say, I think this is a great awakening for everyone. I want to be positive about it. I think that people are waking up to the truth. I actually call it a plandemic, but point is that a lot of people are waking up, and I really think that we are, fighting to get our rights and realizing what's true and what's not true, and that is what's going on. I mean, it's huge awakening.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's like a big global timeout. Everybody out of the pool, right? But then again, was it man-made or was it Mother Earth? And I could imagine both being true, or maybe Mother Earth through man or whatever it is. But it's how we work with it that matters. Using this time wisely, using this time to self-reflect, using this time to really look at our issues. And I think we all agree we don't want to go back to normal, because normal was not sustainable. Normal was not healthy. Normal was destroying the planet, destroying the species. Alan and Mara, what are your kind of overview?
About what you said about religion. I think one of the reasons that these beings don't land is because they know this would be a religion. They don't want to make us subservient to them because they're technologically more advanced. So they come, they appear, they telepathically download, but they don't want to show up and say, yes, we're here to save you. No one's here to save us. We have to save ourselves. And we have to see these beings as equal. They may be more evolved intellectually, technologically, but they're not greater than us. So this is our coming of age. And that's why Devorah and Mara are here. And what Mark is doing, he's trying to bring everyone up to speed, saying, yes, we've been the ones we've been waiting for. It's a little cliche now, but it's our time to take control of our destiny and meet these beings on equal ground, even if they seem greater. But there's no reason to fear them. I know you talked about fear, but they are waiting for us to grow up. They started to appear right after the atomic bombs were dropped. Of course, they've been here throughout the ages, but they do have this kind of oversight, I think, about atomic weapons. And so they're going to make sure we're not going to blow ourselves up.
That's right.
But we still have to take care of our own mess. So here we are, and they are so close now. This pandemic is about planning our awakening of opening the crown, the corona. I mean, it's not all that there's tragedy involved, but yes, we are here to open the crown and activate our brains, which are receivers of consciousness, in order to fulfill our destiny as cosmic beings.
Nice.
Beautiful. Beautifully stated, Alan. Beautifully stated, Devorah. Devorah. I like that. Mara, what's your kind of final thought for tonight, and kind of your overview?
I would just love to share that as we go deeper within ourselves, as we connect to our own consciousness and raising our vibration, we welcome that connection even stronger. And every morning, Mark Sims has been leading a Hue meditation. And actually, just about now, on the Harmonic Convergence website, every night he's leading some CE5 and his own CE6 meditations. So for me, I know that I had an experience when I was young. We were camping. There were some lights in some kind of ship above our tent with our family, and we all saw it and felt very mystical about it because we were in nature, because we were in that blissful state that we could see it. Almost like the movie What the Bleep, when the people couldn't see the ship because it was not in their awareness. They almost couldn't believe it. What I love that Mark Sims is offering with the harmonic convergence is the possibility, the what if it's real for so many people. And for those of us that do believe that, of course, there's life outside of here and it's evolved. I always thought as a child, if they're so advanced that their technology is better than ours, that they can get here to find us and they haven't blown themselves up, they're doing a lot better than we are.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
And I really believe that's what I thought as a kid. I thought, of course, they're going to be good if they're here visiting us because they're here to help. And I've heard so many stories, and I love that there are conferences like Contact in the Desert, like the Harmonic Convergence, and teachers like Nassim and Brian Forrester and Matthias DeStefano, and so many others, Eric Van Daniken and Ancient Aliens, that are inspiring us, helping us to remember, because I believe those are our ancestors that have come back down, Michael Tellinger, and we are connected to them. And I love what Alan said, that we are preparing. And so here we are at the Harmonic Convergence. There's no accident. This is happening now. That we are preparing the way to meet with our galactic family, our starseed family, and to touch hearts, open our souls, and let it be a friendly, warm embrace.
Beautiful.
July 14th, tell everyone to go out. And this is when we're calling them in. July 14th is World Contact Day. Actually, I'll be speaking with JJ Hurtak on the Harmonic Convergence, JJ and Desiree, on July 12th at 3 p.m. Pacific time about the coming ETs and going into more detail about this. But so stay tuned to Unify all week, and Scott's doing a special broadcast tomorrow night. And thank you for what you're doing, Scott, to make the planet awake on the human and non-human level.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
yes, and join us. We are your family at the Harmonic Convergence 2020, and Unify is helping host it. Join us every day. Share it with your friends. Put it out on Facebook, because we all can make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So thank you, everybody, for watching. If you just came in early, go back to the beginning. There's a lot of good stuff. And I'm going to be back tonight in 2 hours at 9 o'clock with 3 more experts and experiencers of ET UFO connection. So come back at 9 p.m. That's in 2 hours. Same place. Come to Facebook, Love Coach Academy, Facebook Live. And Mara, Alan, so nice to meet you, Deborah. I apologize. I have a very
Everyone does it. It's like Deborah with a V. That's what it is.
I have a very good friend named Devora, so that's what I'm getting a little tossed. But thank you, everybody, for all you're doing. And I want to acknowledge a couple of things that was said. Chris Roberts said there are 2 main approaches that on occasion blend in the esoteric world: the psychological method and the spiritual model. And that's absolutely true. But science and spirituality are coming together. We're now learning how to see that they're just 2 different ways of expressing the same thing. And Tarina brought up exploring the concept of consensus reality. And that's really true. When I was doing all the UFO stuff, I consistently explored, okay, to what degree is this about group consensus reality, and to what degree is it somebody's individual experience, which is still valid. And that's why Roswell on July 2nd, 1947 was so important, because it was a big event that happened in group consensus reality. And by the way,
changing. The consensus reality through the harmonic convergence is shifting that focus to a bigger picture.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely, raising the frequency.
That's
What were
right.
we going to say, Scott, by the way? What?
Oh, well, just something actually building on what you had mentioned when you were talking about how UFOs started coming more often after nuclear weapons. What most people don't know is that in 1947, the only atomic bomb squadron in the world was in Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence that a UFO crashed just outside Roswell because they were monitoring what was happening.
Edgar Mitchell was born in Roswell. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
from Roswell.
That's kind of an interesting coincidence.
The Syrians have told me that they have stopped the nuclear weapons, and because they said it's a free will zone, the Earth is a free will zone, so they don't interfere with us. That's why they don't come down here and save us, because they're benevolent and it is a karmic zone. But they said they're going to make sure we don't blow up the planet, and they said they've been doing this for decades, stopping the nuclear missiles. Not just the Syrians, but the Arcturians. Many races. So it's not just one race that stops, but like I said, and they're all but benevolent ones won't interfere and come down unless you ask for help. Unless you ask.
The planet is connected to, if we blow up this planet, it disrupts the whole galaxy and galaxy. Everything's so interconnected.
It's like a ripple effect. Exactly. That's what they showed me. They said it would destroy the solar system, into the galaxy, into the universe.
Huge. We're part of a huge matrix.
Absolutely.
Can't even comprehend, but we're starting to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You guys are great. I sure hope that you'll come back, and maybe even next week after we see how things go on the 14th. I think it's going to be very interesting for some of us to come together and talk about our experiences.
Yeah,
so,
like what happened.
Yeah, so please plan on next Friday night. I'd love to have you both come back and share what happened for you on the 14th. Get photos if you can, all right?
Right. Okay. Yeah, there's a meteorite shower as well. Who's coming up on your show?
Let's see, who do I have? 3 people coming. Celestine Starr is going to be there.
Love her.
Lorian, what's Lorian's last name?
Lorian, she does the UFO in Northern California.
Exactly. And then my partner Trish and I.
Right, that's going to be a great show. Thanks, Scott.
Well,
my pleasure, and thank you. And this is all carried on New Realities TV. Is carrying us. So thank you to Alan, and all come to our show tomorrow night. It's going to be, the show tonight's going to be great, and tomorrow night is amazing. This is where we have tens of thousands of people watching our big Saturday night show. So.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful evening. I'm off to dinner.
You are great in your commitment to this. I mean,
my pleasure.
You play such a good part to bring it out to the world. So.
Thank you. And I want to say, hey, my partner Deborah Giusti is watching. So much love to you, Deborah. You make
love
it all
you, Deborah.
Yes, we do an ascension.
Deborah has introduced us, actually brought us together. So thank you, Deborah.
Yes.
All right. Good night, everybody. See you at 9 o'clock.
Bye.